magic. Namaste. Am I in focus? It's so hard to tell.
Here, you stay there, I'll focus you.
Jane's here. She's going to be my camera assistant. If you could just reach around the front of the camera and touch my face. Touch my face.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, everybody. There's Jane. All right. Thanks. Guess it's focus. Maybe it's my eyes that aren't. I've been down at the sea for a little bit today, and so I probably have salty contacts, a little more salty than they're supposed to be. Welcome to my weekly yoga tune-up. Thanks for coming. My name's Stephen Ewashkiw. If you don't know me, if you do, my name is still Stephen Ewashkiw. Right now, I and Jane, we are in Mui Ne in Vietnam, the same place we were last week of the weekly yoga tune-up, but in a different hotel this time. We've moved, so we're actually on the seafront. But right now it's dark and it's mosquito time, so we're inside for yoga today. There's actually a mosquito in the room. I tried to ahimsa kill it earlier, and I might have got it. But if you hear Jane like doing that around the room, it's probably because the mosquito has found her. They carry malaria, so we're more concerned about it than normal. Anyway. Thanks for coming. The idea that I'm formulating with these weekly yoga tune-ups is that it will give me an opportunity to talk to you for a little bit, and then we can do some yoga together. So let's talk. Look at this, yoga mat. We have not been traveling with the yoga. I'm really excited about this in some ways because the tops of my feet were hurting on the concrete that we have outside of this hotel. I've been not traveling with the yoga mat for a long time. I've been writing some blog posts about yoga mats and the different kinds that you could get. This is like the cheapest, most unenvironmental yoga mat in the world, but it was what was available in town. And I don't know if you saw the video of me doing like a sped up vinyasa class from, was that yesterday morning? I actually cut the tops of my feet a little bit on the concrete, and so I vowed to get a yoga mat to practice on. And I know that where we're going for the charity work on Friday, that we have a not ideal place to practice. It's nice, it's flat rooftop area, but it was pretty dusty and dirty there last year, so it'll be nice to have a mat to practice on. Anyway, on to a bit more of like our topic for today. Jane and I did a yoga business tune-up talk. Was that yesterday, Jane? That was just 2 days ago? 2 days ago. Like 500 of you have seen that already, so thanks for watching. I hope you're finding it useful. One of the things we were talking about in that conversation was the idea that as yoga teachers, sometimes we don't feel we're qualified to talk on a subject, especially when it comes to using social media. And I wanted to talk to all of you a little bit about that. Not assuming that you are all yoga teachers at all. I wanted to expand it a little bit more and look at how that can manifest in your life if you're not a yoga teacher using social media. Because the idea of not being qualified, of not being worthy, is something that we all go through, and it's something that it's part of our process to recognize when we do have things to share and when we do have things to learn, and to use tools to overcome those feelings of insecurity. If you have any job whatsoever, this feeling of I'm not worthy and maybe I shouldn't speak up, and is anyone going to be interested in what I have to share, is almost certainly going to resonate with you. And if you're in any kind of relationship with your family or with a lover, and these ideas of, well, what do I have to contribute, and who am I to suggest X, Y, and Z, or Z? I'm really not sure anymore. we were talking about the idea that, especially if you're trained in something. So, when Jane and I were talking, we were talking specifically about yoga teaching. So we were saying that if you're a yoga teacher, if you're trained to be a yoga teacher, you probably fall into the top 5% of the world of people who know shit about yoga. So obviously, if you're in the top 5%, you are an expert and you do have things to share. Whatever job you have, you've done training in and you have experience in, whether your job is a job that pays you $1 million or a job that pays you $5, you have skills that allow you to have that job and be in that position. And that in and of itself puts you in a position of being an expert to some degree. And knowing when you can take that and share it with other people is part of this process. But learning that you do have things to share, learning that you are valuable and are valued, comes with, I think, looking at your situation and recognizing that you might not be the best in your field, you might not be the best in your office, but you have skills that other people struggle with. You have strengths that other people have as weaknesses, and spending time looking at yourself, thinking about who you are and what you're good at, writing down the things that come up, sitting, meditating, and yes, practicing yoga are things that you can do to help you start to recognize where your strengths are and what your expertise is, so that when you're at work, when you're at home, you can step up a little bit more and put yourself forward and put yourself out there. Even if you're not the smartest person in the room, you have value to add to the conversation. When there's a new employee at work, you have skills that you can share with them that might not be how to run the business and make a gazillion dollars for your company, but you can offer them the skills that you have to share. The things that other people might not think about, might not be good at. I know I feel like I'm going in circles a little bit, but I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's important that we put ourselves out there, even when the ideas might not be fully formed, even when we're not sure if anyone wants to hear this, we're not sure if anyone cares. It's part of discovering more about yourself. It's part of growing and challenging yourself and pushing the boundaries. It's partly why I've chosen to talk at the beginning of these classes, is that I wanted to challenge myself to bring a little bit more permanence to some of the talks that I might have at the beginning of my yoga classes. I have a challenge for myself, which is that I find that when I'm recording classes, when I'm putting something that's going to be up on the internet forever, whatever that means, that I start to get nervous and concerned that other people will be able to, even me, I will be able to go back and listen to what I've said over and over again and analyze it and critique it. And this is where my malas come up, criticize it and tell me that I'm not worthy. And so I'm working now to challenge myself, to become more comfortable with not just the teaching of asana on a live class that becomes a recording, but also to challenge myself to talk to you a little bit more about things that I'm thinking about, things that are going on in my life. I'm pretty confident that when we meet next week, I'm going to be talking to you about the knee. So it might not be as important and serious in terms of overcoming your self-confidence concerns, but it'll be a lot of, I think, about some physical things that are going on in my body and things that go on in your body and how we can work together to learn more about that. So with that, we're going to do some yoga. It won't be perfect. It'll be today's yoga. I might say some things that aren't exactly what I mean to say. We might not do every pose on every side. I'm like giving you my preemptive, like, uh-oh, these are the things I might not do. I'm not going to mirror you, but I think you see the right side now, so I might say the wrong side at some point. We're going to just have class, and swaha. Whatever happens, happens. Thanks for coming. Take a comfortable seat. Close your mouth and breathe through your nose. Touch your tongue to the roof of your mouth, just behind your front teeth. Lengthen your inhale a little. Lengthen your exhale a little. If you practice Ujjayi Pranayama, begin Ujjayi Pranayama. If you don't know what that means, that's all right. Work to engage at the sides of your throat a little bit. That's part of what I just said, Ujjayi Pranayama. So breathe through your nose, touch your tongue to the roof of your mouth, just behind your teeth. Work to make your inhale the same length as your exhale. Engage the sides of your throat slightly. You might start to hear your breath a little bit more as it moves in and out of your throat. In yoga, we call this Ujjayi Pranayama. Pranayama is sort of breath work. It's a really short and easy translation of that. Ujjayi means victorious or uplifting. So lift yourself up with more focus to your breath, the more expansive breath. Thanks for coming onto your mat today. Thanks for practicing. Bring your hands together in front of your heart in Anjali Mudra. Touch your thumbnails to your breastbone, that bone at the front of your chest. Spread your fingers from there. Sit up tall. Let's sing one Om together. Exhale fully. Inhale. Your breastbone, Bow your chin. Lower your hands to your lap. Sit up tall and lift your chin. Open your eyes. Come into child's pose, please. Balasana. How are we doing, class, with you? Because it's my weekly tune-up as well. Take your knees as wide as your mat. Touch your big toes together. Sit back on your heels. Stretch your arms straight out like downward facing dog. Bring your forehead to the ground. You may always support yourself with some blankets or pillows if you like. A pillow between the knee joints. This pillow isn't really wide enough for me to do that. It can be nice if you're getting some knee pain. You might want to raise the ground for your head as well. But if you're comfortable with your hips on your heels, forehead on the ground, be there. Slide your hands forward a little more. Stretch through your shoulders. Then push your hands forward to push your pelvis back and down onto your feet a little more. Spread your toes, push your toes down, spread your toes, stretch your toes. Push your hands forward, push your hips back, and work to get them a little bit heavier on or towards your heels. Don't lift your forehead like I'm doing. I'm just doing that so that you can hear my voice. Keep your forehead on the ground. Lift your elbows off your mat if they've come down or have been down. Stretch from your shoulders. Push your hands down and forward. Stretch through the sides of your ribs. Push your pelvis back. Push your feet down. Spread your toes. Stretch your toes. Come up to all fours, hands and knees. If you practice with me regularly, you're probably bored with hearing my hand and wrist alignment, but it's a good reminder for everybody, even if you're one of my regular students. Work to have the middle of your wrists as wide as the outer edges of your shoulders. So I'm right to camera, you can see that pretty well here. If you imagine a line coming down from the outer edge of my shoulder straight down, it's coming down right to the middle of my wrist. I'm going to place my right hand so that it's the same alignment. Then also work to make your wrists, excuse me, I need a drink of water. Excuse me. Also work to have your wrists parallel to the front of your mat if you're using a mat, or wrists straight towards the front if you've got an edge of the wall there. Spread your fingers and bring your shoulders over your wrists. Just a moment, I'm choking on something. All right, I think we're good. Back to all fours.
That mosquito, you got it.
It's that mosquito, yeah. Oh no, I was vegan all day. Damn it. Wrist as wide as the outer edge. Middle of your wrist as wide as the outer edge of your shoulders. Wrist parallel to the top of your mat. Spread your fingers. Round your back. Look towards your belly. Stretch through your shoulders. Tighten up your butt and push your pelvis forward. Stay in the cat shape, the rounded back. Draw your belly in and up towards your heart. Tighten up your butt. Push down for your feet. Push your pelvis forward. Draw your belly in and up. Push through your hands. Look towards your belly.
Push down through your hands, push down through your feet. Come into the cow shape. Arch your back. Move your belly down. Move your chest down and forward and up. Move your thighs in and back to lift your pelvis up. Look up. Look down the tip of your nose and lengthen through the back of your neck. Push down through your hands, push down through your index knuckle, where your first finger comes into the palm of your hand. Then turn the inner edges of your elbows forward. Widen your collarbones. Look up, but look down the line of your nose and lengthen through the back of your neck. Push your pelvis back and lift it up. Push your feet down, push your hands down, round your back, come into cat. Exhale fully. Push your hands down, push your feet down. Inhale, arch your back. Cow. Turn your elbows forward, round your back. Cat. Turn your elbows in. Turn your elbows forward. Come into cow. Widen your collarbones. Lengthen through the back of your neck. Round your back. Exhale. Cat. Inhale. Cow. Exhale. Cat. Inhale to neutral. Depending on where you are on your mat, you will need to walk your hands forward or your knees back a little bit. And then tuck your toes under, straighten your legs, come into plank pose. Same alignment that we used for the all fours. Middle of your wrists as wide as the outer edges of your shoulders, wrists parallel to the top of your mat, push down through your hands. Since your hands are right there in front of your face, look at your thumb. Look at the finger that's next to your thumb, your first finger, if you've got both of those fingers, I suppose. That's your index finger, so push down through your index finger pad, like the tip of the finger, but then also push down where the index knuckle is, where the index finger comes into the palm of your hand. Push down. Push down through the tip of your thumb, and push down through where your thumb comes into the palm of your hand. If you need to bring your knees down to the ground, bring your knees down to the ground. Push through your hands and round through your upper back slightly. Come to downward facing dog. Push forward with your hands like we practiced in child's pose. Lift your hips up and back. I had to walk my feet in a little bit to come away from the wall, so I've had to walk my hands forward a little bit to keep my dog at its full length. I've heard the length of downward facing dog described a couple of different ways. We'll look at both of those, see if they're the same for you, and see if you prefer one over the other. Like we were doing in the cow shape, push down through your index knuckle. Stretch down through your heels. Stretch out of your shoulders. Push through your hands to lift your pelvis up more. Stretch your heels down. Child's pose. Take your knees wide, place your feet flat, touch your big toes together. Fold forward. Stretch your arms back towards your feet. Let's give your shoulders a little bit of a rest. You You can do like I'm doing if that's comfortable for you, or you can do something else. What I'm doing, so you don't have to come out of the pose, I'm resting, I'm turning my hands in at my sides, palms up, and resting my upper arms on my upper legs, and then the back of my hands are resting on the floor, back by my feet. So my arms are supported by my legs, my hands take some of the weight into the ground. Lift your head up slightly and stretch your spine, bring your forehead back down. So let's look at this first measurement for downward facing dog that I've been taught. Stretch your arms forward like we did in the first child's pose. And then like we did in the first child's pose, walk your fingers forward without lifting your butt off your heels. If your butt is not touching your heels, you're still an awesome person. That's cool. Work to walk your fingers away from you as much as you can without lifting your pelvis any more than it's lifted. So get your arms stretched, get your shoulders stretched, get your fingers stretched so you can walk forward with your hands. No more. Push down through your hands. Lift your elbows, lift your shoulders. Turn your elbows up towards the ceiling, but keep pushing down through your index knuckle. Now, lift your shoulders up, lift your butt up like you're coming into all fours. Come towards all fours. Bring your shoulders forward. Bring your knees hip distance apart. Tuck your toes under. Lift your knees up. Keep pushing forward with your hands. Push up and back, downward facing dog. Don't adjust your feet or your hands. I'm going to have to move my right foot slightly though, and my left foot slightly, because I'm in the doorway, so I'm going to move my hands over slightly. So from child's pose, from the full stretch of child's pose, you shift forward and lift up and use that as your measurement for downward facing dog. That's one way I've been taught. I'm not saying it's right, I'm not saying it's wrong, I'm saying you try it. See what you think. Push down through your index fingertip, push down through your index knuckle, push down through the tip of your thumb, push down through the inner edge of your the heel of your thumb. Turn your elbows up towards the ceiling, widen your collarbones a little and push your chest back. Lift your pelvis up, stretch your heels down. Child's pose. Same thing we did before, stretch your arms back. And if you liked the variation I did, you can do that. I turn your palms in and up, rest your upper arms on your thighs, back of your hands towards the ground, outside your feet, forehead to the ground. Interlace your fingers behind your back, Paschimma Baddha-Kolasana. If you can bring the heels of your hands together, do. If you can't, cup your hands and make your palms active, make your fingers active. Bend your elbows. Point your elbows up towards the ceiling, but keep your elbows bent. Lift the top of your arm bones away from the ground. Straighten your arms. Lift your forehead up off the ground, stretch your spine, bring your forehead back to the ground. That's just to get some more length in your neck. Make that more active, lengthen through the back of your neck. Lift your hands towards the ceiling. Move your shoulders towards your hands. Stretch your hands towards the front of the room. Lift through your hands. Bring your hand. Sit up. Bring your knees together, sit on your heels. Kneel up.
that doesn't work. You keep kneeling up. So kneel up is come up to your knees. It's a term I invented back when I was teaching in Los Angeles. But now I am the headless yoga teacher. Maybe that could be my USP. Have you ever done headstand with Stephen? It's amazing. All right, so what I want you to do is to take your right arm back and stretch your right arm back. So it would look like this in you. Place your left hand on your hip just so it has something to do. Stretch your right arm back. Now, as if you were going to throw a ball forward with your right hand, stretch your right arm forward, hold it out in front of you. So you can even do like I'm doing gripping of like an invisible ball. If you've got a yoga block, you can use a yoga block for some resistance. Jane's going to use the 6-liter bottle of water. No, she's not really. It's almost empty. She could. Bowling ball. Rounders for all my Irish watchers. A hurling ball, whatever you've got. Jane's going to use the sunscreen for a little. I could use my water bottle. I think you probably get the idea. So take your hand back behind you again. Take your arm back. Extend through your shoulder. And then bring your arm forward like you're throwing underhand, and then stretch your arm out in front of you. Switch sides. So see, the problem here is that the ground is too close to me, so that's why sitting on your heels doesn't work. But with your left hand, with something in it or not, stretch back through your arm and extend through your shoulder. Stretch back through your head. And like you're throwing a pitch underhand, stretch your arm forward and push your arm forward, lift it up. Stretch through your arm. Swing it back. Hold. As we say, hold for time. Stretch your arm forward like you're swinging forward, throwing a ball. Stretch out through your arm. Okay, relax that for a moment. What I want you to think about when you're doing that is feeling what's happening underneath your shoulder. So when you're doing that action of bringing your arm forward, there's a contraction in some muscles here that helps you lift your arm up. Some of the same muscles that you would use if you don't ever punch somebody, but if you were punching somebody, you might take your arm and throw your arm up to punch them. And some of those muscles that are involved in that are these muscles we call the serratus anterior. If you've been to one of my workshops in the last few months, they'll be the muscles that I refer to as the Ryan Gosling muscles. If you're watching Ryan, yeah, I talk about you in yoga class, sorry. So these are the serratus anterior. You might be more familiar with them as like the fireman calendar muscles. And they help you do this action of throwing a punch, throwing something more nice like a bowling ball, or bringing your arm forward in that action. Bring your arms forward in that action and imagine that you're contracting in this area of your body, which is where your serratus anterior are, because they're helping you do that, so you might as well think about it a little more. Stretch your arms back. Other muscles are going to help you do that. That's not what I want to talk about right now. Stretch your arms forward like you're throwing a punch, or like you're bowling with two hands. Now you're like the dude. I don't know if he ever bowled with two hands, but he should have. Keep that action. Flip your palms around. Now you're in plank pose. Oh, that's what we call protracting your scapula. We just think about it in different ways sometimes when we're weight bearing, when we're in plank pose. And I wanted you to think about this action being like, it's not just push your arms away from you. It's more of a rotation in the scapula to get that motion and to get the serratus anterior firing and supporting your shoulder blades. Because plank pose is one of the other ways that we measure downward facing dog. Come into plank pose. Set up the middle of your hands, middle of your wrists as wide as the outer edges of your shoulder, wrists parallel to the front of your mat, shoulders over your wrists so your arms are straight up and down. Now, at your heels, what I'm looking for is heels over the balls of your feet. Let's see if I can get some camera.
not heels back behind the balls of your feet, not way up on your tippy toes. I don't know anybody who does it like that. But heels over the balls of your feet, so your heels are straight up and down. How's that looking, Jane?
It looks pretty good.
Heels pretty much straight up and down. Meanwhile, Jane's in plank pose, looking at my feet, judging them for me. Thanks for judging me, Jane. Now, come down to your knees. Place your feet flat, sit on your heels, stretch your arms back, and then bend your elbows and throw your arms forward like you're throwing a ball or swinging a punch. Straighten your arms, stretch your arms out in front of you. Keep all that, come back to plank pose. Heels over the balls of your feet, arms straight up and down. Don't change where your hands on your feet are. Lift your butt up like you're sticking your butt in the air, because you are. Push your hands forward. Push your chest back. Stretch your heels down to the ground. Again, I've run into this wall problem. I'm going to do my left foot so I can see it's actually down. Heel down. Stretch your hands forward. Push your chest back. Point your elbows forward and up. Widen your collarbones. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. It's the second way I know how to measure this pose. I like both of them. I think they both have their value. Plank pose, down dog, is my usual go-to. It's a little easier, a little less time consuming to measure out.
It's a lot longer for me.
Really?
Yeah.
The length of the pose, the length of the stance. You mean, not the. I thought you meant like how long I've been in the pose. It's a lot longer for me. Like I think you've done it the same amount of time as me.
It's a lot of a longer down dog than coming from child's pose.
Interesting. Which do you like? Come down to your knees, sit on your heels, sit up. Since you're here, Jane, which one do you like?
I think I normally do the shorter one, so that's the one I'm used to.
Right.
But that doesn't mean I like it better. It's just what I normally.
Right. So you're saying that the shorter stance for you is coming from child's pose, just so that everybody knows and might not be able to hear you. So the shorter stance for Jane was coming from child's pose, and that's what she's used to, or that's what you're used to.
It's just my habit.
It's just her habit, and the plank pose to down dog is a longer stance for her. It's a longer stance for most people, and I like the longer stance. I think it's a little more in proportion to your body for most people, and I think it pushes people just to that little bit more where they don't usually push themselves in downward facing dog. We usually take the slightly shorter stance because it's slightly easier, and I like that slightly longer stance because it's slightly harder. Welcome to Adventure Yoga. Okay, so we've been doing some stretching out, so let's stand up. I'm not going to stay on the ground the whole time, even though I might need to adjust the camera. Let's see, I can probably do that though. Wah, wah, wah. You might not be able to see my feet, but you might be able to see most of me. So, cool, that's good. That'll do for now. I'm going to stand at the back of my mat, but you can stand at the front of your mat. Bring your feet together, and if you like your heels slightly separated, so your feet are actually parallel, do that. Stretch your arms down at your sides. Tadasana. Look, we're standing up. We did it. And stretch your arms up. Fold forward, touch the ground. If you need to bend your knees so that you can touch the ground, bend your knees so that you can touch the ground. Fold over your legs, stretch your spine long. Uttanasana. Push down through your hands, move your shoulders away from your ears. I might move it a shot a little. I'm going to come to the front of my mat now. So I'm where you are. Isn't that weird? I'm where you are. Step your right leg back, come to a lunge. Bring your hands on either side of your left foot. Bring your left knee over your left ankle so your knee's straight up and down. Yeah, the hotel dimensions today aren't ideal for live video, but you know, you get the gist. Push down through the outer edge of your left foot. Push down through your big toe mound, push down through your inner heel. Step your right leg forward.
Step your left leg straight back. Come to your fingertips so your wrists are under your shoulders. Stretch your right knee forward, stretch your left knee back. Push down through the outer edge of your right foot. Push down through your big toe on your right foot and your inner heel on your right foot. Step your left leg forward, step your right leg back. Spin your heel down, warrior 2 feet. So have your right foot parallel to the back of your mat or turned in slightly. Have your left heel so that it lines up with the middle of your right foot. Point your left foot straight ahead. Push down through your feet, push down through your hands and lift your torso. Stretch your arms out. Hey everybody, I'm back. Point your left knee straight ahead. Point your left finger straight ahead, right finger's back. Move your shoulders down your back, move the front of your ribs back, and look straight ahead. And smile. Turn your left palm up. Reverse your warrior, slide your right hand down your right leg, but don't put pressure onto your right knee. Push down to the outer edge of your right foot so that you don't collapse into your right knee. Lift to the inner edge of your right leg so you don't collapse into your right knee. Stretch your left knee forward, point it straight ahead. Stretch through your left arm, stretch through your left side. Inhale, warrior 2. Bend your left forearm, rest it on your left thigh. Turn your right palm up. Konasana. Stretch your right arm alongside your ear. Use your left arm resting on your left thigh to help push your left knee straight ahead. Push down through the outer edge of your right foot. Lift through the inner edge of your right leg. Lift through your ribs and turn your torso up towards the ceiling more. Stretch your left knee forward. Bring your right hand down. Lift your right heel. Bring your left hand down. Step your right foot forward. Step your left foot back. Spin your heel down. Set your feet up for warrior 2. So left foot parallel to the back of your mat or toes turned in slightly, your choice. Line up the right heel so that it would cut through the middle of your left foot if they were touching. Push down through your feet, push down through your hands, lift your torso. Stretch your arms out. Look forward, lift the outer edges of your mouth. Up. Said it before, say it again. Yoga jokes or dad jokes. Move your shoulders down. Push down to the outer edge of your left foot. Lift through the inner edge of your left leg. Stretch out through your pelvis, through your knees. Point your right knee straight ahead. Turn your right palm up. Reverse your warrior. Slide your left hand down your knee. Stretch your right arm towards the back of the room. Point your right knee straight ahead. Push down through your pelvis. Push down through the outer edge of your left foot. Lift through the inner edge of your left leg. Your upper leg, so you're not tweaking your knee. I like the word tweak. Tweak your knee. Don't tweak your knee. Tweak might not translate for you. Inhale, come up. Bend your right forearm. Place your forearm on your thigh. Turn your left palm up. Stretch your arm over your ear. Konasana. Move your right shoulder towards the back of your body and away from your ear. Push down to the outer edge of your left foot. Lift to the inner edge of your left thigh and turn your torso up towards the ceiling a little more. Push down through your pelvis. Stretch your right knee straight ahead. Bring your left hand down to the ground, lift your left heel. Bring your right hand down, step forward. Sit down. Stretch your legs out in front of you. Sit up. Bend your right knee. Close the knee joint, bring your heel into your hip. Straighten your left leg, point your left knee up. Point the toes on your left foot up. Hold your right knee with your left hand. Touch your right fingertips to the ground, back behind you. Sit up tall. and twist to the right. Hold your right knee with your left arm. Wrap your elbow around your knee. Hug your knee in to the left side of your body. Pull your knee into your chest. Twist. Sit up tall. Twist a little more. Sit up tall. Untwist. Twist the other way. Hook your right arm inside your right leg. Twist to the left. Do the open twist. Push your arm into your leg. Push your leg into your arm. Draw your lower back in. Sit up and look over your left shoulder. Think about your left leg, your straight leg sun. Point your left knee up. Point your toes up. Come back to center. Change sides. Stretch your right leg out. Bend your left leg. Bring your heel in. Close the knee joint if you can. Point your right knee up. Point your toes up. Touch your left fingertips back behind you. Hold your left knee with your right hand. Twist to the left. Then grab your left knee with your right arm. Wrap your elbow around your knee. Hug your knee in, into the midline. That means towards the right, in towards your body, and twist. Sit up tall. Use your left hand to push down and draw your lower back in. Lengthen through your spine and twist a little more. With an inhale, come back to center. Take your right fingertips to the ground, hook your left arm inside your left leg, and twist to the right, to the open twist. Push your arm into your leg and resist with your leg. Push your leg into your arm. Push your right hand down, draw your lower back in, twist. Lengthen through your spine. Come back to center. Straighten your legs, sit up. Bend your knees. Hold the outer edges of your feet. Bring your ribs to your thighs. Keep your ribs and your thighs touching. Hold the outer edges of your feet. Pull on your feet. Push your feet into your hands. If you can keep your ribs and thighs touching, straighten your legs some or all the way into Paschimottanasana with your ribs and thighs touching. If you can't do that variation, just keep your knees bent to the point where you can keep your ribs and thighs together. That's your Paschimottanasana today. It's all good. Hold the outer edges of your feet. Push your feet into your hands. Pull back with your arms. Stretch long through your ribs and through your spine. Stretch the top of your head forward. Sit up. Good thing we tested that alarm. Bring your hands back behind you. Point your fingers straight ahead. Lift your pelvis up. Stretch your toes to or towards the ground. Stretch your head back. Rest your head on your shoulders. You must get away from the wall a little bit more. Push down through your hands. Push down through your index finger tip, your index finger knuckle. Push down through your thumb tip and through the pad of your thumb, where your thumb comes into your hand. Turn your elbows forward, widen your collarbones, and rest your head back in that space. Purvottanasana. Bring your hips down, separate your feet, and lie down. Not quite Shavasana yet. Lie down. Bring your knees into your chest. Wrap your arms around your legs. Relax your breath. Stretch your legs out. Set up for Shavasana. Separate your feet as wide as your mat. let your feet relax and turn out. Turn your palms up. Relax your face. Relax your jaw. Release your shoulders and let them get heavy on the ground. Relax on your belly and all around your pelvis so that your hips get a little bit heavier. Time for Shavasana, please take another 5-10 minutes to rest. Otherwise, deepen your breath. Move your fingers and your toes. Stretch your arms and legs. Bend your knees. Roll to your right side. Press yourself up to seated. Sit up tall. Bring your hands to your heart, the way we began, Anjali Mudra. Thanks for practicing.